Change, it can be a scary thing. A departure from what you know, the familiar. A journey into the unknown, a place with no safety net. A challenge that may invite scrutiny, even judgment. But what is art if it doesn't evoke a feeling? What are words if they don't make you think? And who are we if we don't evolve? So when I found myself at a creative crossroads, I knew I needed to push myself beyond where I had been, to call in something that would reveal itself in the most magical way. So I set out on a journey for something new, something unfamiliar, even a little scary, because I needed to find a new kind of art and a new voice for my oracle cards. And that became the Dreamweaver's Oracle. And here's a peek at the artist I found and our creation together. Okay, so we arrived in Santa Fe. One of my absolute closest and dearest friends, Althea Gray, phenomenal healer, was waiting for us with a big smile on her face at the hotel.
Hi! It's so good. Hello! It's me and Althea.
Anyway, we piled into her car and set off on the most crazy and wild adventure to find Joel's studio.
We are lost. I don't like it. We don't know where we are. We're in the middle of nowhere on a dirt road that's no bueno at all. Like, no good. Oh my God, he's gonna bleep us out. Oh my God, this is scary.
We were getting deeper and deeper into the back hills, and it felt like we were on this endless journey. And I was starting to wonder if we would ever find our way. But just when we were about to give up hope,
I got here.
And when we arrived, it was like we had found this hidden gem in the middle of the desert. It was truly a magical experience.
Joel, this is a dream.
I think this one might be my favorite. So I think that's kind of my favorite one, I think, but they're all my children, so I love them all. And I think which one I finished last was my favorite one, you know.
So back when I was conceiving the Dreamweaver's Oracle, I mentioned to Althea that I was really looking to collaborate with a new artist. And I shared my creative vision with her, and she immediately lit up. She said, "Oh my gosh, I know the perfect person for you. He's a local artist, but he's known all over the world. And he mentioned to me he's always wanted to do an oracle card deck. But the question now was, would he want to do this project?" So then I get on the phone with Joel. It was interesting because we were texting and we talked a few times, but I just felt like there was this mystical connection. We have complete opposite personalities, but we understood each other in such a way that I cannot tell you. There was this kismet, right? This between Joel and I, and he was able to create. I'll show you the first painting. I want to show you the first painting because this was like this is my favorite painting. And I would say that this one, because it was about flow, and as the river flows, and it was just like everything he did was very celestial. And look how calm and peaceful these beings are, you know. And then the eyes, all-seeing eyes, and the hands. And of course, my whole artistic direction is eyes, so of course I went nuts for his eyes. It just is so calm and peaceful and loving. I was able to describe to him that I wanted these faces, and that I wanted, beings and creatures, and that I saw this mythology basically on a cave wall in my imagination, and that these Dreamweavers were also really playful. And he got it. So he was sending me these drawings, and he would take a picture of this wild thing and just send it to me. What do you think of this? And I'm like, oh my God. Like, it was the story, how we met and the connection that we have is just so magical and mystical. Like the universe just opened up and said, this is who. This is who. It was like the beings, the Dreamweavers said, he has to birth us. He is the one, right? And it was because they were talking to me. It was, I can't.
Okay, so it's a tool tin panel, And then I have to put a patina on the tin so it's not raw, so it looks older. And then I have to use a sign painter's underpainting so that it sticks to the metal. And then I can paint my acrylic paint on top of that. And so it's all kind of layering that happens, starting with, you know, a strong silhouette of whatever the main subjects are. So I kind of paint backwards from other artists. I do the background first and the subject comes last. So that's kind of my personality, kind of do everything backwards from everyone else. This one was, you know, the wind that blows your sails, and I just, the idea of this flying creature, you know, holding a dreamer and guiding all these dreams after it, going to the unknown galaxies or wherever it's going. This one was a challenge where all is calm along the shoreline, and to not make it so literal, so I thought we'll have the shoreline emanating out of the seashell, you know, would be, so I really like that concept too. Well, it's in layers of information, like say the coyote, you know, I'll paint the general form and then I'll draw the fur, and then, you know, it's in whites, and then I have to tint it back to purple so it knocks it back a little bit. And so the little bits of information that we find, so these are supposed to be like shed lizard skin, and so I was trying to come up with a way of drawing kind of with the paint, you know, kind of shed lizard skin, and these guys emerging. But I want people to be able to look at these many times and you notice, oh, there's a dolphin in there, and there's a mer person in there, and so that people can look at the cards many times, and then, you know, they'll notice something different during the viewing, that, you know, there's beings within the petals of the flowers and stuff. So that's kind of my thing, is to hide details in backgrounds and let people find that and notice that, you know, on their own. I call it modern folk art, you know, neo-folk art, you know, I guess would be a more appropriate term, but yeah, because it follows a lot of folk traditions, but the techniques are more modern, you know, and I am a trained artist, so I had to undo some of my training to kind of get to a more primitive or more iconic way of describing things.
So these are the dream weavers themselves. You see these faces, see the tree, the upside dream, and then the fish. There's all the elements that are on unique places. It's just spectacular, and this is how they weave through their dreaming. They dream the world into being, like we do. You know, like they help us though. These are beings that love us, and that come from a different dimension. And again, this is just a myth, right? But they are there always bringing us a dimension of love and care and compassion when we need it most. This one here was chosen for the cover. When a cat curls around the moon. And of course, this is a tiger. My husband insisted this is his because he's a tiger. But it is about the independence of intuition. You know, the cat is always about independence, but this curls around the moon. So it's not the kind of independence that's forced. It's the natural sense of being unique and being a part of and intuitively following. So knowing when to rest and knowing when to move. And this one is all about your, you know, everything here is about intuition and about, you know, following the way of the right way to create reality. It's beautiful. And this is when Coyote calls your name. So it's the trickster, it's about detours. And you see the way he painted the hands like this. So the coyote is calling, and he painted the coyote purple, which represents that the mystical quality, the mystical connection to spirit, which is about the fact that sometimes we go on detours, we don't get what we want, we get disappointed, and all of a sudden we're meant to go somewhere else, we have to pivot in life. And this is saying that there's a divine order in these trickster moments. Supposedly in that moment, we think it's all bad or whatever, but it really means no. When Coyote calls our name, it means it's time to take a different path, one that we didn't anticipate. If you hear a Sasquatch sigh,
Yes, that's it.
so this was all about when you forget magic, because the Sasquatch is sighing. You don't know they're there, right? So this Sasquatch represents magic in the world. And if you hear a Sasquatch sigh, you forgot your own magic. You forgot your power as a co-creator. You've just forgot that there are so many other dimensions of reality around you, and also the helpers and the beings that are there to help us. Your shading too is just spectacular. Like, look at this. I cannot tell you, these paintings in person, I'm speechless. They're so beautiful. When I began this journey, I started with the words that would guide the images. I drew on the knowledge of my 35 plus years working with many different divination systems, letting these cards reveal themselves to me one at a time, until I had a collective that worked as a true divination system. 44 beautiful messages that would work together to tell your story that's ever evolving and full of hope and prosperity. And what a journey, how far we've come right from the beginning, when I had no clue and I had these dreams of cave paintings and petroglyphs, and I'm like, who am I gonna find to draw this? Because I knew this had to be hand drawn and hand painted, and just all the synchronicities of how I met Joel. And so here we are, the end of my journey in the creation of these cards. It was a big change, but it turned out beautifully. And I now turn it all over to Spirit to help guide others in their journeys, for those who find themselves in uncharted territories, looking for a light at the end of the tunnel, hope, clarity, and prosperity, with love to call in the beauty of your connection to your higher power and your destiny.